thing that we're testing as we've moved over to Ecamm. And from a production perspective, it's really cool. It's clean. Then what I do in a separate browser window is I have my script. And as for those who are new to the show, I am not comfortable reading a script. I think I lose my personality when I get forced to do things. And the reality is I'm starting to figure out, how can I embed some of my personality into this and poke fun at scripting at the same time? And I'm just getting started. So
yeah.
I'm ready, but it's a separate window. So then these windows end up stacking on top of each other. And now all I have to do is just go back and forth. And what I have to listen to is the last word of the statement that you're going to say before I start talking. So I know where I need to be in the script. And sometimes I don't scroll quick enough. So there you go.
It is a learned skill, and your brain does adapt. And what you'll find is you'll start to scan better and be able to prep how you're going to say things in your head while you're saying words 3, 4, 5 words earlier. It's weird when it starts to click for you. So it'll get there. We're forcing you to do this, get you out of your comfort zone, as they say.
I am definitely out of my comfort zone with this. And I will have fun.
Speaking of comfort zones, let's just throw everybody into it.
Today's headlines. It's time for today's headlines.
World's greatest live country band in the studio today. Good morning and welcome to the L&D Morning Brief. I'm Brent.
And I'm Mike. And folks, if you are a learning and development professional who was thinking of easing into the week gently with a warm beverage and some quiet reflection, wrong day.
We have got 5 massive stories, and we are going to get through all of them before your first stand-up meeting ruins your morning.
Let's go.
Story number 1, breaking news. And yes, this one is big tech, but we've got a hysterical L&D connection. Don't you go anywhere.
So here's what happened. Apple and Google announced a multi-year deal back in January, $1 billion a year to power completely rebuilt Siri using Google's Gemini AI model. We're talking a 1.2 trillion parameter system, on-screen awareness, multi-step task chains, the whole enchilada.
iOS 26.4 was supposed to drop this month, March 2026, with the new Siri baked in. I was so looking forward to that. Apple's own internal testing showed Siri sometimes just completely botched queries. Long delays, wrong answers. You ask her to book a flight, she books you a fishing boat.
Bloomberg broke it. Apple is now spreading the new features across future OS versions, iOS 26.5 in May and iOS 27 in September. The Gemini-Siri collab is real. It is coming, but it is not ready yet.
Now. Here is the L&D connection. And I want everyone to really absorb this. The world's most valuable company, Unlimited Resources, partnered with Google, and their AI product is not ready yet. It performs this inconsistently. It needs more time.
Sound familiar?
Sound familiar? That is every AI-powered e-learning tool that got demoed at a conference in the last 2 years. It'll be ready by Q4, they say. We're just doing some final tuning. The hallucinations are mostly fixed.
Yeah, if Apple can't get AI right on the first try with $1 billion, maybe just maybe, your L&D team should stop apologizing for needing 6 more months to properly integrate AI into your learning ecosystem.
The moral of this story, friends: pilot, test, iterate. Even Cupertino does it.
What do we want to do with the why this matters piece? Because that's not, so it's kind of interesting in this version of it, at least what I'm seeing in what was dropped in Drive. We've got a why this matters, and typically we'll say that, like you'll say this out loud. But I don't know if
and
this
it's not in the
anything
script.
to it, but it's not also part of the. So maybe is that, are they saying? So this is the why this matters. AI powered learning tools are proliferating fast. The series story is a reminder that AI product timelines slip and that L&D pros should demand real world pilots, not just conference demos, before betting their training strategy on any single AI platform. Do people bet their strategy on any single platform?
I don't know. Maybe some do.
Yeah.
It's a shocker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Be careful. Like, it's this is one of those, another one of those things I like to poke fun at people about it. I said this yesterday in the beginning of a post. It was that whole thing. If you throw a stick, you hit a realtor kind of thing, because everybody's a realtor, or you throw a stick, or in a bank, you throw a stick and everybody's a VP. It seems like these days you throw a stick and everybody is talking about how they just moved everything over to Claude, or they've just moved everything over to whatever the soup du jour or the tool of the month is. And then you look at something like this and you look at these stories and you see where investment is happening. There is going to be a lot of testing in each of these frontier areas, and people are going to learn, and stuff's just going to continue to push out. And at the same time, many of these large organizations are going to figure it out before they fail. Meaning, like, there's so much money at stake. They're either going to beg, borrow, or steal. And Craig, you did not really miss anything. They're going to beg, borrow, or steal from the other one. And cool, look at that. We got the highlights inside the news. So that's something we lose with the newspaper thing. I wonder if that can be black. Can you change the color of that and make it bigger?
Oh yeah.
Cool. So, get out there and just keep testing things. And remember, a test is not a guarantee. So be careful how you set expectations with everyone around these things. Like, you can get super excited about what works for you and how it works and all that other kind of stuff. But the takeaway for me is test. Lee Cockrell's father-in-law, Admiral Payne, has a quote that he's known for. It's do your best and forgive yourself. Do your best with the technology, and then kind of forgive yourself in the technology. That, sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not going to work. And at least you keep learning and you keep moving forward. I missed your sarcasm font, Craig. Thank you.
You can talk over the music.
It's time for technology and innovation.
Story number 2, tech and innovation. And I'm going to say a number. Ready?
Ready.
$6.6 trillion.
That's a lot of learning objectives.
So here's the deal. The World Economic Forum and education giant Pearson published new research. Research released at Davos in January. It is a nuclear-grade wake-up call for every C-suite on the planet. The study modeled more than 300 knowledge-intensive job categories and found that if organizations actually augment their workers with AI instead of just deploying AI and hoping for the best, the U.S. economy alone could add between $4.8 and $6.6 trillion by 2034.
That's roughly 15% of US GDP from learning, from training people to actually use the AI tools their companies are paying for.
But here's the catch. And this is where it gets spicy for L&D folks. Hold on to your seats, folks. The research found that while employees are reporting time saved from AI tools, there are almost no enterprise level productivity gains outside of software coding. None. The reason? A massive widening learning gap. Companies are spending billions on AI infrastructure and basically nothing on training people how to use it responsibly and effectively.
The WEF says the Reskilling Revolution initiative is on track to reach 850 million people worldwide, but they also note that 59% of the global workforce will still need reskilling by 2030.
Pearson CEO Omar Abash said it plainly. Leaders are under pressure to adopt AI fast and show ROI, but they're leaving worried employees behind in the process. And that gap, that is the ROI problem.
Huh.
What are you hunting about?
I didn't get a screenshot for the tech and innovation.
Huh.
Oh, maybe it's all backwards?
I don't know. What do you, so,
Huh.
what do you think? So here's the guidance from the script. Brent, say your punchy thing. This is
Oh, yeah, I got to say a punchy thing?
Yeah. This is the stat.
Wait, where am I?
This is the stat.
Oh, yes. This is the stat that ends every budget conversation, Mike.
Print it, frame it, email it to your CFO this morning. Here's the deal. Don't do that. If you do that, you're potentially going to be in a conversation that's going to be a tough one. Yeah, maybe this. Yeah, don't do that. I do think that there's an opportunity here to have a conversation with your team and say, "Hey, look, if this is what's happening in the marketplace, and this is what we're seeing as a potential threat long term, how can we optimize for the threat? How can we put ourselves in the best position to be successful?" A lot of times people will do postmortems after a program launches and it fails. Implement, and this is a red teaming exercise, implement a premortem and start to think about creatively, how might all of this stuff fail and where is our opportunity and where are our gaps and how do we know that we're actually making progress? I would not advise you to use this as your sign that you hold up in front of the CFO's office and then have in subtext, "This is why I need a seat at the table."
Why not?
All right, you are up.
I am up. Sorry, the slide thing. I was so psyched that the slides looked better today, but I apparently, when I clicked the button that says beautify this slide, I did a couple of the wrong ones. So anyways, I'll get over it.
I already am.
I know you are. Except now I can't get the dang window to, okay, minimize. There we go. That's better. Hoy vey. Well, do I at least have story 3? Let's see. Yes, here we go. All right.
Do we have a jingle for story 3?
Oh, wait. Is story 3 brain science or human? Oh. Story 3
and I did that for you, Craig. You're welcome. And that wasn't sarcasm.
And now for our human and culture segment.
Well, that's not human and culture. We're getting into is science human and culture?
I don't know.
All right. Story number 3, up to Brent.
So, a new study just published in Nature Human Behavior out of the University of Nottingham and Cambridge has genuinely rattled the scientific community. For
Brent, you
decades.
jumped. So,
What?
so here again, because I'm being forced to use the script, I'm going to force the co-host to also use the script.
Oh, am I
Brent,
reading the wrong one?
Yeah, you're supposed to be 2 sentences up.
Oh, damn it. I scrolled
Because
wrong.
there's some humor built into this one.
Just punch him in the head. All right. Story 3, human and culture. And this one is going to make every instructional designer in the audience question everything they thought they knew. I love this story.
Before you dive in, Brent, I want everyone to note that Brent has put on glasses to seem more scientific.
I don't have my glasses.
That's okay. I didn't want the audience to miss out on that one.
This is why you're supposed to go through your scripts before you go live on the show.
Ooh, a pre-read?
What? These are neuroscience glasses, Michael. Show some respect.
Duck.
There. How about that? Oi. So, a new study just published in Nature Human Behavior out of the University of Nottingham and Cambridge has genuinely rattled the scientific community. For decades, memory researchers believed that the brain used completely separate systems for 2 types of memory. One system for episodic memory, remembering specific events, like that awful team building ropes course in 2019, and a separate system for semantic memory, remembering facts and general knowledge, like a carabiner is a metal loop used in climbing.
These are supposed to be totally different brain regions, different processes. The whole model of how memory was organized was built on that assumption. Excuse me.
Oh, jeez, did I lose myself? Built on that assumption. Sorry, we're going to pull this together. And researchers just did a 40-person fMRI brain scan. 40-person fMRI brain scans measuring blood flow and brain activity during memory tasks and found virtually no measurable difference in brain activation between the 2 types of memory retrieval. The same regions light up. The systems overlap massively.
So what does this mean for L&D?
It means that the traditional instructional design idea of make it experimental and episodic to separate it from dry semantic learning may be less clear-cut than we designed for. Story-based learning still works, but maybe not for the reasons we thought. The brain might be blending those memory streams all along.
Which means more research is needed before we redesign everything. But it's also a green light to stop treating fact delivery and story-based learning as opposites. They may be working through the same neural plumbing.
One researcher said they genuinely expected stark differences in the data. Quote, these results should change the direction of travel for this area of research. That's a scientist saying, we were wrong, start over.
I love a good scientific crisis on a Tuesday morning.
End scene.
Story number 4.
Oh, okay, we're just going to move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anything on that one? Any thoughts on that one?
It's brain science, and I don't know. Let's go to the comment section. Nope, nothing there. Okay. Story.
So, Craig is going to delete the song cues. Thank you, Craig. One of the things, this is where I get to poke a little bit of fun at Craig again. This gets into the whole learning style thing that is so near and dear to his heart. It's, people don't just want facts and figures. They want it to be, a story, so it's relatable and it resonates and whatnot. Oh, okay, cool. Because somebody told you that that's how you need to communicate this stuff, and because that happens to be the way that you like to take in information, and because that's the thing that you remember, or is it because over time we continue to communicate and pass on information through stories, and we remember those stories. Now, the challenge with stories, people, you've heard me say this before, but there are things that are said, there are things that are heard, and there are things that are remembered. And when Brent and I are both multitasking in the background, kind of looking at, hey, making sure that we're in the script and that we're looking at the comments and that seeing the number of people that are on here, it's hard to remember not only your space, but what you just said. So
can anybody tell me what the first story was about?
Yeah, the first story was the Gemini and Apple coming together for the Siri stuff, and how they were a little bit behind on their launch, and now you should get some grace inside your organization if you're behind on your launch.
See, you remember stuff. You got this.
Dude, I remember. I got a mind like a freaking steel trap. It is, but the reason I remember that one is because I think the message is wrong for people. It's not, hey, it's everybody else is sucking at this too, so it's okay if we suck. I would know if I was granted. Yeah, Craig. At this point, I'm about ready to just grant you access to everything.
I kind of just assumed he already did, but maybe that was.
Like it's so, and it's
Craig. That's my fault.
If you take anything away from these conversations that we have, please do this. Go out there and test things. And then when you test things, pause and reflect and say, did it do the thing that you expected it to do? If it did, good, do more of it. If it didn't, then start to figure out why. And when you have those conversations with people inside the organization, just like you don't want them to make assumptions around how you do their work or how you do your work, don't make assumptions on how they do their work. It seems like a lot of the stuff we learned when we were in kindergarten, in the way that we interact with people and the way we learn and all that other kind of stuff.
It is. And I don't know what happens when somebody requests access to a Google Doc. Weird.
I'm good for a coffee version, I think.
Okay. Anyways, Craig, I'm going to figure this out and how to get you access, and I'll just make sure you get it every single time. But yeah. Anyways.
So it seems like the chat. I'm looking at the chat. It's kind of cool. So before the chat shows up in the frame, before it shows up on our side, like it shows up on Google, it shows up in YouTube in the YouTube.
Oh yeah, it'll show up on YouTube first, and then it gets into the system,
and then it drops into the system. I'm good for a coffee version. I think the reason going over time is the music. So I second Craig. Oh, don't think it's
everybody blames the music. Come on,
side conversation. Well, Wendy's using her sarcasm font today too. It's not the side. It's not the side shit that Simmons adds to it. It's the music that's causing us to go over time.
It's Brent's fault. Hey, Wendy, I would like to add that I cut the song this time because for some reason, so the new music creation feature inside Gemini, it only does 30 seconds. It cannot create a clip shorter than 30 seconds. And so it creates a musical ditty for, like, if you ask it for a 10-second thing, it'll give it to you, but it gives you like 3 versions and blends them all together into one song. So,
all right, story number 4, industry specific. And today we are visiting an industry where training is not a nice to have. It's a legally mandated, regulatory inspected, audit trail required.
Hey, wait a second.
Can die if you skip this module situation. What?
I forgot the industry song.
Random industry with an L&D problem.
Yeah, sorry. I totally just had to do that. I worked hard on them, Mike. Okay, sorry. In all seriousness, please, story number 4.
Story number 4, industry specific. And today we are visiting an industry where training is not a nice to have. It is a legally mandated, regulatory inspected, audit trail required. Someone could die if you skip this module situation.
Pharma.
Pharma, buckle up. New analysis from Upside Learning Solutions published just this week identifies what they are calling a persistent knowledge execution gap in pharmaceutical training. Here's the brutal truth. Pharmaceutical employees are completing required training modules at scale. The check boxes are getting checked. The LMS is showing green, and yet manufacturing deviations continue. Documentation errors persist. Quality failures keep happening.
Because completing a training course does not mean you can execute a complex GMP procedure under pressure on the shop floor at 2 a.m.
Exactly. And the regulatory agencies, the FDA, EMA, ICH, are not impressed by your completion reports anymore. They want evidence of operational capability. They want to see that employees can apply procedures correctly, in context, in real manufacturing and quality scenarios.
The research is pointing toward what they call capability-driven training, connecting learning platforms directly to operational systems and workforce analytics. Not did they watch the video, but did the deviation rate go down after the training?
This is performance support. This is embedded learning. This is exactly what the broader L&D field has been talking about for years. And in pharma, the stakes are high enough that they have to get there fast.
And here's the kicker for our non-pharma L&D professionals watching. This capability gap exists in your organizations too. Completion rates are lying to you. The question isn't whether your learners finished the course, it's whether they can do the thing. I feel like we need some sort of explosive new sound effect for those aha moments. Because weren't you just talking about the doing thing? And isn't this also Kirkpatrick level 4?
Yeah, I think that's why maybe we need to go back to our stage names, Kirkpatrick.
This is something we've been talking about forever. The script was right. Our executive producer nailed it pretty good. It's not just pharma. It's everybody in the industry that's struggling with this. And yeah, I mean, obviously for the longest time, it's been okay to just give completion, check the box. We used to call it butts in seats. I haven't heard that phrase in a long time, but it's the same thing. Did people show up? Did people take it? Did they like it? Did they enjoy it? Did they feel good? Did they feel like it was worth doing? Level 2. Can they apply it? Did they do it? And then did it have impact in the business? That's the part where we struggle.
Why do we struggle with the impact in the business stuff?
I think because mostly you have to get outside the L&D bubble and stop being impressed with your articulate storyline skills and actually talk to the business, learn about the business, understand what the business really needs, and try to figure it out. I just don't think people enjoy doing that. And that's probably a hot take for a Wednesday morning, but everybody struggles doing it. And maybe on a more positive note, not to, kick L&D square in the crotch on a Wednesday morning. Maybe nobody wants to talk to us and tell us what they're really concerned about, or maybe they're not telling us the things that they really want to measure. Maybe you're in an organization where they're just telling you, listen, just don't worry about it. Just create the training. All we need is the training. Just do the training. And you're like, no, I really need to know if this is going to fix it. How can we measure it? What metrics do you guys use? for success inside of, this manufacturing thing. Now, don't worry about it. We'll figure that out later. Let's just get the training going. That could be how a conversation goes. And I don't blame training departments for having to deal with that, but it's a reality.
The Craig says have more than one talent. What did I miss there? Did you say something about more than one talent? Hey, Craig, can you clarify that? And also, I want to test to see what the delay is like on this. But this is one of those problems that does not need to continue to persist. And I know this is going to be like, oh yeah, Mike, that sounds good in your little world here in Arizona in a 10 by 12 office with bright lights pointing at me and a microphone in front of me and staring down a camera lens. In every one of your businesses, there is something that is used to measure whether or not someone is successful. There's a key performance indicator, some kind of data point that they're used to measure against. In most of your businesses, those numbers are much higher. Or there are many numbers that they're tracking. And as you add complexity, you can hide in the complexity. Because if you have 10 different numbers that you're tracking to demonstrate your success, it's very easy to over-focus on the ones that are moving in the right direction and under-focus on the ones that are not. And what I would ask you to do is, so this is on the articulate skills, get to know the company and what they do. Don't just make a course. Yeah. So ask yourself this question. How is the person that I'm working with or the person that I support or the team that I support measured? If they don't give you the information, don't build the thing. And I understand it's hard, but a business leader inside your organization is going to understand why you decided not to build the thing without the data. People will talk about AI slop and all this other shit that's coming together because it's so easy to create content and create more and just put more stuff into the system and not connect the dots. And it's easy to just kind of check those boxes on the tasks and share your to-do list and say all the work that you did. Building business acumen is critical for people in these roles if you're going to support the business and you're going to drive business impact. And if you're struggling with that, ask one of the people that's either in the stream from a chat perspective or one of the people that's speaking around this right now, because it is not as complicated as you're making it. And the access you now have to information is so great that you can go in and work with an open LLM to get a better understanding of some of the questions you might ask to understand how that executive inside the business is actually measured. On the sales side, it's typically how much money did you bring into the business? How much did you sell? Not revenue. How much did you sell?
I think
I don't think people care. That is really ultimately why I'm pissed off about this. I do not think the people in the L&D community give a shit. It's more fun to talk about how you're implementing AR and VR to do these cool things and what you're doing, and then go tell everybody at a conference about the cool thing that you did. That's more fun. It's more fun to talk about the new driver you picked up.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's a fun anecdote that explains this pretty solidly. When we first started doing Demo Fest at DevLearn, and we were asking people to demo their products, one of my favorite products was created by a former colleague of mine, and it had significant business impact, and it was just a spreadsheet. And he had figured out I forget exactly how it worked, but when he was telling me about it, I was like, you've got to put that in Demo Fest. It would be so great to literally show people how you're doing it. Anyways, long story short, nobody was interested. No, very few people cared to even stop by his table and listen to him talk. To your point, I think whoever won that particular year's Demo Fest, did some sort of flashy animation training thingamajigger with jumping things and click next buttons and everything. So, yeah.
I think the thing that is cool about doing something like this is we can be a magnet for those who want to do better, who actually want to make an impact, and that's why I'm excited about the opportunity that's in front of all of us here.
There's a lot to do, and one thing that you just reminded me of too, by the way, and sorry for the extra rants today. That slop has been around before AI. Okay,
Sure.
What about rapid learning development? Does everybody remember that trend when it first came out? Everybody was so psyched about it, and rapid e-learning development was slop. That's what got us to where we are today. And now everybody's blaming AI on it, and it's like, no, we've kind of been building e-learning and corporate training slop for decades.
Yeah.
Let's do better.
Yeah. It's if you want to go deep into this kind of stuff and like wisdom of crowds and impact of crowds and why it is really cool to have so many people in the community contributing to something, go take a look at Tim O'Reilly's stuff on Web 2.0.
Back in the day.
Way back. Like just go back and look at it and think about, some of this actually sounds kind of familiar. And it does, and it will, and it should, because we're still the humans kind of working through all of this stuff. We're just now able to access it at a pace that is unbelievable, and things are evolving at a speed that is amazing. And typically when people get stressed, there are a handful of things that will either happen. Like in chaotic situations, there are a handful of things that will happen. People will either jump in and want to be a part of it and try to fix it or work through it and lead. There are other people who will say, it's never going to work here. I'm not going to do it. And whatever. And there'll be those kind of categories. And then there's going to be a category of people who are going to be like, let's just kind of wait and see how things move along. Decide which category you want to be in. Are you going to lead? Or are you going to follow? Or are you going to get in the way? And either of those are options, and that's your choice. And ideally, we're building this for the people who want to lead and move things forward.
And now for the news in authoring tools. And now for the news in authoring tools. And now for the news in authoring tools.
I know Wendy's super excited about the learning pool news. So story number 5, authoring tools and platforms, where the software either liberates instructional designers or imprisons them in drop-down menus for the rest of eternity.
Harsh, but accurate.
And the big news here is consolidation. The learning technology market is eating itself, and what just emerged is genuinely significant.
So, Learning Pool, a global learning technology company headquartered in Derry, Northern Ireland, backed by Marlin Equity Partners, has completed 2 major acquisitions in just a few months. First, they grabbed WorkRamp, next generation LMS designed for mid-market and extended enterprise customers. Then they acquired Elucidat, a premier cloud-based authoring platform founded in Brighton, UK in 2013, trusted by global brands including AXA, Sky, IHG.
If you don't know Elucidat, it's been one of the more respected authoring tools in enterprise L&D. Built for large-scale learning teams, collaborative content development, AI-assisted authoring, over 10,000 authors have used it to create more than 280,000 courses reaching 58 million learners worldwide.
And that is not a small tool.
That is not a small tool. And Learning Pool's CEO, Benoit de la Tour, said the vision is to deliver, quote, an industry-leading experience for end-to-end learning design and delivery. They already have an LXP, analytics tools, and custom content library, and now they've got authoring and a mid-market LMS in the family.
What does this mean for the market? Well, Articulate is watching, iSpring is watching, Lectora is watching, Adobe Captivate is also probably watching, and in between, existential crises about its own roadmap.
Mike, I don't like that script. I just go to the next thing.
Yeah, I must have read that wrong because it didn't flow. Anyhow,
Didn't hit the punch.
I'm just saying the pressure is on every standalone authoring tool vendor to either add platform capabilities or find a very warm acquisition offer on their doorstep. When one player can do authoring, delivery, and analytics in a single ecosystem, the best of breed argument gets a lot harder to make.
The integration work is already underway. Learning Pool says they're unifying authoring, content development, and learner experience, powered by next-generation AI and automation. For L&D buyers, this is worth watching closely. You may be renewing contracts soon.
All right, let's do a quick lightning round recap before we let you go save the workforce, Brent.
Go save the people. Apple's AI is delayed, which means your AI project timeline is actually fine. Story 1.
6.6 trillion reasons to train your people on AI. Story number 2.
Your brain doesn't care whether it's episodic or semantic. It's using the same roads. Rethink your instructional design assumptions. Story 3.
Pharma is proving what we've always known. Completion rates are vanity metrics. Capability is what counts. Story number 4.
Learning Pool is building an empire. Keep an eye on your vendor contracts. Story 5.
And that's the wrap on the L&D Morning Brief. I'm Mike.
And I'm Brent. Go forth, train people, make learning matter, and we'll see you right here tomorrow morning.
All right, so I like the speed of that script. Like it gave more space for kind of the open dialogue and the interaction. I'm a little thrown off on what do we want to do with the why this matters piece, because I think that why this matters piece is important because it puts a nice little bow on each of the individual segments. And
Just tell me what you think we should have, because I think the reason why it does it the way it does it for the breaking news story is because I told it. I originally, breaking news was only breaking news in L&D, but remember when I switched it and I said, hey, let's expand the breaking news segment to anything that is, tech related or big stories that people need to know. And then I said, and then add, why this impacts L&D. And if you can't figure out why it impacts L&D, come up with something hilarious and write it anyways.
Okay. Yeah. So, I think there's some pretty good context in those pieces that can help people kind of connect the dots. Sometimes it's hard to connect the dots. You're kind of like, okay, that's cool, but what does it mean for me? And yeah, the why it matters piece is a good what it means for me, which is one of those things I typically forget to say out loud. It's like, okay, well, what does this mean for you? It's like, hey, Mike, that's awesome that you're talking about drivers, but what does that mean for me? The reason I mentioned drivers, one, Brent and I were talking about me struggling getting off the tee when I'm playing golf. The other part, though, is that most people think if I just go get that new piece of tech, I'm going to be able to get off the tee. It's going to be I'm going to play much better. It's not the driver. It's the piece of wetware that's swinging the driver. So some, it's the tool. The tool is more important. The skill is more important than the tool. And I did a piece yesterday. I posted on X as an X article, and then I reposted it as a newsletter on LinkedIn, and then shared it in our Slack channel. So if you're new to the show, we do have a Slack channel. We keep the conversation going beyond the morning show. And if you'd like to get access to that, just let Brent and I know. And Craig, a new guitar will not make you play better. It's not the guitar. It's
you know what? I have a counter to that, Craig, because if a new guitar is what makes you pick it up and play it more often, then in fact, yes, it does make you play better.
Yeah. Really good point on the importance of practice. A new guitar sitting in the corner that you don't touch will look pretty, and it will not help you play better. But if it does compel you to just kind of feel it and strum and do whatever the thing is, like I've got my ukulele back here for when I go on rants that I forgot to play.
Are you shut up, Craig?
What did Craig
and
say?
Now, deep thoughts from Mike.
Yeah, I missed Craig's last thing. Wait, yeah, it just shows.
Dude, I so want one of those guitars. That's like that's the next dream guitar. I think I like the news stories today. I screwed up on the slides. I don't know why. I thought I had them all lined up last night, but it was late. And I was just trying to overproduce the show and do too many things. So
I think that sucks. I think it sucks if you have to do it the night before.
Well, it does. I mean, so here's the thing. You don't have to. And I didn't have to do it as long as I did. It was done. I just wanted to make it better and fancier. It's my own fault. Okay. And again, this is just experimenting and testing. Yeah. Will I stay up late every single night preparing for the show the next morning? No. But we're in a growing stage. We're trying to get this thing better and improve it and figure out ways that we can make this type of thing fun for you to enjoy. Obviously, we're going to tighten it up. Mike and I are going to get better at reading the scripts. I believe the stories are worth getting out to people, and it's a fun, interesting way to start a community of professionals to have these more open and honest conversations about what we're all dealing with in our industry right now, especially because of AI and how it's impacting the work that we do in so many different ways. So, using AI to produce the show is a fun way for us to engage with these new tools and to embrace them. And oddly enough, I do believe what we're doing right here is an interesting way to level up your training game. Imagine doing a live webinar in a style kind of like this. I think these types of tools and developing, think of it as like a live, interactive, conversational e-learning course, as opposed to just a bunch of squares talking to each other in a Zoom meeting. Level it up a little bit. Are we on for next week's hackathon? Is it next week, Wendy?
We pushed it. It's not next week. I think there was a conflict. Did you have a conflict next week on Wednesday?
Yeah, next week I'm at my daughter's wedding, so I think we decided to go the week after.
Yeah. So, Wendy, good question. The hackathon will be on Wednesday. What's that going to be? Wednesday the 25th. We do Wednesday the 25th, and that will start at 10 o'clock Eastern. And
Yes.
so yeah, so block the time if you can to be here. Makes it a long day, but that basically takes us from 9 o'clock Eastern until about 11:15 to do the hackathon and all of that kind of stuff. And we're, like Brent said, we're testing and we're kind of figuring things out and what works from a flow standpoint. But the last hackathon was really good based on your participation and Craig's participation and some of the things that came out of it. I'm still using the study buddy that
No way.
I use the study buddy on my side that I created and threw into ChatGPT after Claude did the work that it did. And
Nice.
it's awesome to be able to break things down into really, really small pieces. So it is still being used, at least the one that I've got on my end.
Everybody will be happy to know that I do not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That'll be on Wednesday the 25th, not next week.
Yes, I do not have a end of show song for you today. So I know everybody's totally disappointed, but I didn't get that far last night. So tomorrow we'll have a closing song that slowly fades in when we start to go too long, and that will be our cue that we are exiting. Just another piece of the puzzle.
Just another piece of the puzzle. Tomorrow, I want to get into this HBR article.
Okay.
Let's block the time because I think it's an important conversation to have. I'd like us to figure out what we can do to get more people in here. Because today we capped out again at 4. So one of the things I'll do tonight, today on LinkedIn and a couple of other areas, I'll remind people, hey, this is where we're going live. If you want to get into this and see if we can grab some clips, is there a way to get can you download the raw stuff so download it and put it in our Google Drive so that we can try to do something with it and grab a clip
Yep, I'll shoot it over to you. It does all of the feeds individually too, so I can get your individual video and audio, my individual video and audio, or the whole show.
And I dropped the HBR article in here. I
do got to roll. We got to wrap.
Later. See you tomorrow.
Sorry, Mike. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.